Hello everybody, we are going to be talking about Anglicans and as usual about homosexuality. So basically, Anglicans' perspective about homosexuality. First of all, I would like to be more specific about what we are going to be talking about, and this is Anglicans' belief, their position and their official position about homosexuality, and finally, some statements made by leaders in different times of history. Just for helping you to remember, Anglicans belong to the Christian denomination and they are a Protestant religion that was started in England by an Anglo community, so this is why it is also known as the England Church. It was actually started by King Mr. Henry, who wanted to divorce Catherine because they couldn't have a boy and there was no male for the throne. So it was sure to have another civil war, being Catherine, the family of the king of that time. So Henry appealed the Pope to annul the marriage and he declined the annulment because of the political consequences that it could have. So at the end there was a Protestant group over there that offered Henry to get together and they would get him the annulment that he needed and he will be free. So he accepted and this religion was created. And their bases are that there's no central hierarchy, so each temple have their own leaders, and the British Empire become independent of Rome when this religion was born. And finally, that women also have important roles in this religion, like they can be bishops or priests. And this made us believe, and they are a really hoping religion. So we'll see more about it after.
The Anglican Church of Canada is in the midst of 40-year debate about this question. In some point, the Anglican Church came to the conclusion that being gay is not a choice. It is how some people are born. Here is a little part of this video about the debate.
Regions, even religions, are still as split as ever. Even denominations within religions. Take the Anglican Christians, for example. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Dr. Rowan Williams, has announced he's to step down at the end of the year. His 10 years as head of the 80 million strong Anglican Communion has been marked by major issues, women priests and bishops, and homosexuality within the church. Now, a new split is emerging. Should gay couples be allowed to marry in church? I'm joined now by two, in this case, Anglican priests with very different views. In 2003, Gene Robinson became the first openly gay man to become an Anglican bishop when he took over as Bishop of New Hampshire in the U.S. Episcopal Church Lesbian and Gay Film Festival, and he's with me now. Also with me now, and delighted to welcome a woman priest, Reverend Linda Rose, and she takes a much more traditionalist stance.
Well, I think the Christian concept of marriage is foundational to Christian faith, and it's laid down from the very beginning of the Bible in Genesis that God created a man and a woman, and he created them to live in union with each other, in relationship with each other, between that man and that woman, to support each other and within which to raise children. The message is actually changing the very basis of our faith. It's changing the ontological understanding of humanity.
Well, I would say that God, in fact, did not get it wrong. She's right about that. We agree about that. God created us to love God and to love one another. That's the overwhelming message of Scripture. And indeed, what we are seeing in today's culture are same-gender couples who are exhibiting the gifts of the Spirit and the fruits of the Spirit of loving someone as much and in some cases even more than they love themselves, which is the ideal in marriage.
Next, I'm going to show you the part that approves it. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, the highest authority of the Anglican Church, with the permission of the monarch Isabel II, requests a radical new Christian inclusion and promises the bishop will study the issue again. We will try to do it better, he said. And in the other hand, the part that does not approve. They say more about that what is the tradition. So when it comes to how Anglicans deal with this in the Bible, it's probably more about to say this is correct, this is in our Anglican tradition. So for them it's very important to keep that is not usual, to be more open than nowadays.
Anglicans are more liberal than in past years about homosexuality, but it is said that the Anglican communion is deeply divided over how it reconciles its differences on same-sex marriage. The churches that are more loyal to the same-sex union are in Brazil, Canada, New Zealand, South India, Scotland, South Africa, the US, and Wales. There are 38 provinces, each with their own prayer book, traditions, and legal structure, and they're only bound together by bonds of trust and fellowship. When any of these provinces takes a step considered by others to be morally or theologically unacceptable, there is no legal institution for dealing with this. There is only tolerance and compromise, loving or begrudging, and is that the only way to be the community preserved? The other alternative is schism, but the official position in the Anglican community is while we should be supportive of homosexuals, they should remain celibate.
Now, what it concerns to their official position about homosexuality, we found out this pastoral letter in their official webpage, and they basically say they are conscious as bishops that many LGBTI people are suffering and being through so much pain, and they actually created 5 principles, and they say that it's their responsibility as bishops, ministers, to ensure that all people know that there is a place on the table for them. They are not excluding anyone. Also, that questioning about someone's sexual practices is inappropriate and disrespectful, that nobody should be excluded or discouraged of receiving baptism. They also affirm that a lot of LGBTI people have helped them a lot and have roles of leaderships in their church, so they actually acknowledge the great contribution that they have made to the church. Finally, about same-sex marriage, they said there is no authorized public liturgy for such prayers, but they encourage the community to keep trying, and the clergy should respond sensitively.
Furthermore, I'm going to talk about Andrew Ford Buchanan, because this man for 20 years was a vicar. Also, the Reverend in 2017 starred in Approach the Pressure. This means that in 2017 he decided to leave the priesthood and also accused the Anglican Church of its institutional homophobia. He was very aware about this strong statement because it wouldn't prevent him from returning to the church, and is a man that is on the rise this life. Moreover, he said this statement: the Anglican Church is now a very different organization for that of my beginnings. This means his beginnings. Also, the progressive liberalism that dominated the church in 1950, that means 1950, has been replaced by a much more self-confident kind of evangelism, which is often very conservative. This statement means that the Anglican Church has changed. Moreover, I will show you about Anglican statements made by leaders in different times of history. First, according to the Anglican theologian Norman Peter Gere, that is the man in the photograph, the sexual orientation of human is an expression of God's purpose for the validity of His creation. This means that in some churches, even the marriage of homosexual couples is formalized, and it causes a revolution in many of its members.